Hello, today I would like to make a video where I talk about doing something in a competitive environment and perhaps like mental health struggles that come with it. And while I do this, I showcase my favorite Pokemon and cards I have of it in no particular order, just because it's a video and there has to be something to see, I assume. The reason why I do this video is that I think that I'm not the only one that struggles with mental health issues, and especially those who are enforced in a competitive environment. I've seen a video recently where somebody is trying to figure out why they didn't make day 2 in a major tournament, and if he or if they are not like quote unquote built for this. And since I've came across thoughts like this as well, and do so ever so often, I thought like, okay, maybe I just like record something to perhaps look at later and can understand myself a little bit better, and perhaps to the one or two persons who see this video, this can either give like some insight for or create some sympathy for others, or perhaps they feel seen by this, and then I hope that I can just like, I don't know, help somebody, and if not somebody, then perhaps at least myself. So yeah, starting from here, I guess. To get one thing out of the way, somewhat obvious, I struggle with mental health issues, but I would prefer to not elaborate them any further, just for those who are interested. I struggle with mental health, but it's not that bad, so if somebody worries, you don't have to. I struggle with repeating thoughts of like, am I good enough? Should I continue trying hard to win something or anything? And why do I try hard to win something or anything? And I think it's a trap I set for myself, because I could just like play for the heck of it, but when I do something, I would really like to be good at it. Like being stuck in the avalanches of mediocrity, I don't know, it's really frustrating to me. So whenever I do something, I get like very passionate about it. I use much of my resources to aim to be good in the subject that I'm like interested in. So when it comes to Pokemon, I try to be a good TCG player. I've been playing for now 2 years, and to various success, I would say. This season I am obviously a little bit better than I was last season, and I'm happy that I can like in a long run see a form of progression. However, progression in a long run is something nice, but sometimes I am a bit upset to miss out on short-term improvement and not only improvement, but I don't know, just, you put in so much time and effort, you think about it, you read about it, you write about it, you play test, you do so much, and then whenever you put in that much effort and the results are not the way you hope them to be, then things can be a little bit frustrating. And I think the problem is that when I'm at the crossroads of being frustrated, and then I have to decide for one path or another, which is, okay, so do I say, yeah, it has been unfortunate today, let's get over it, or do I beat myself up about it and question whether I am made for this, or if I have any talent at all, or should I perhaps just quit because it's just a waste of time and I just set myself up for failure by pursuing a hobby which I'm apparently not good at. Then I tend to choose the latter path. So yeah, that is definitely something that I need to work on. So like I said, I'm for 2 years now in the hobby, and in that time I have attended 11 regional special events and ICs all combined, which should give you a glimpse on how dedicated I am when it comes to my hobbies. Some people play for years and have attended maybe 1 or 2 regionals because they like to play, but they don't bother if they play good or successful or whatnot. And this is perhaps a way healthier approach than the one I'm choosing, but that's not up for discussion right now. That's not what I'm on about. What I want to tell you is, in the first season I missed out on all day 2s. I missed out on all of them. I didn't manage to get day 2 whatsoever, and it was not due to me not trying, I can tell you that much. To this day, I haven't won one cup. Not one Pokemon Cup I had the fortune of winning so far. I became second place more often than I can count. I don't know, the last inch just hasn't have struck me yet. I am currently very upset about this because back to back these last 2 weekends I became second again. Again, no cup playmat. Again, no 50 glorious championship points. Again, no, I don't know, quote unquote acknowledgement from others. So yeah, it's not all these things in its by themselves are important to me, but whenever you try so hard, the sum of it is just, I don't know, a bit oppressing. However, I managed to win multiple challenges, and this season I managed to get 2 day 2s, and I should also try to see this as some form of improvement, and I should be proud and I should be happy. But for some reason, and that's perhaps very toxic to say. I whenever I achieve something, I start to think like, yeah, of course you achieved something. You should have already. It's important that you have done it, but if you hadn't, I would be disappointed. So I can't win. I don't know why, but my mental health doesn't allow me to win. Whenever I achieve something, it's like, yeah, because I've worked for it. And if I don't achieve something, I'm upset and disappointed. So winning doesn't satisfy me, but losing beats me up. Why am I this way? Why is it that way? This is what I try to figure out for so long now. Judging by my accent, you can probably tell that I'm no native English speaker, so I think it's easier for me to do this video in English because I can like create an artificial distance between me and the subject matter, and this is just like I said, it's a bit easier for me to approach this in a different language than my mother tongue. So obviously this is a hobby. Yeah, I'm playing a card game. It's not that deep, right? So why does it bother me so much? I began this by stating how important things are to me that I'm passionate about, and I just set myself some goals for this season, and I just state these goals. The goals were that I would win at least one cup, I make one day two at a major, and I end up having at least one championship point than I had last year. Last year I had 365 championship points. Those I already surpassed. And I made not only one but 2 day twos. So in that regard I also overachieved. So I checked 2 out of 3 boxes, and the season lasts at least like I think 3 or 4 more months, so I have plenty of time to win another cup. I shouldn't be preemptively sad about something that I haven't achieved yet, because I still have room to achieve it and I still commit effort, and why should I not achieve it, right? Why do I consider it impossible for me to achieve something that is not that hard for others apparently, and also not that big of an achievement actually to most? That's a question I try to figure out. Why do I think that I am not able to? I think what it boils down to is the question, do I actually trust myself? Do I like myself? These questions are way too three-dimensional to figure out in this yapping, rambling session. So yeah, they are perhaps too substantial to talk about in a video where I talk about trading cards. But I just wanted to have mentioned that it perhaps has something to do with that, which I'm not sure about, but yeah, it could be that way. Now that I've talked about all these things and thought about it with you listening whilst I did it, what do I would love to be the takeaway from this video? What would be the message? What would I love a person that perhaps feels similar like me, or perhaps me looking at this video 2 months from now, a year from now, what would I love them to think after that video? One thing could be that I would like the person who watches this and perhaps doesn't believe in themselves, I would like them to look at their respective achievements, and may they be as small as they are, right? Perhaps you did like a sequencing mistake, which you did like so often, and then from one day to another, after you trained and you practiced so much, you didn't do it again. Perhaps that's an achievement. Perhaps you can be proud of that. You know, you have sometimes to look for the little things to be proud of. And sometimes these things that seem so marginal to you are actually way bigger than you will give yourself credit for, right? Yeah, maybe that's a takeaway from this video. You should compare yourself only with yourself, not with others, right? So where I live, there are so many very talented players, so many players that I look up to, that inspire me. And when I see this one guy who does the sequencing like almost perfect every time, and then there's this other guy who is like so in-depth knowledge about the game, and then there's this guy who knows everything about the meta, and then there's this guy who's so tilt-proof, and then there's this guy who brings so much confidence, and I see all of them and I admire them for their respective strengths, and then I ask myself, why don't I have these? And I think perhaps to a certain extent I have these. So I shouldn't compare myself to these. I should compare myself to me, and perhaps me from a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever, to see what you've already achieved and be proud of that. To whoever listens to this, to whoever cares, I think you are enough. And as long as you try to be or get better in any regard, as long as you try to improve yourself and don't leave yourself hanging, as long as you don't give up, I think it's worthwhile to try. You are enough. And if you want to become more, then you will be also enough during your progress, during your journey. Maybe I'm enough. Probably persistence is more important than success, right? There are so many people that win because they are good. But us who try to be good and who don't give up, maybe they will get there eventually. And if not, then at least we can say that we've tried our very best. And if you think you can't go on and you don't want to go on, then it's also fine. Don't put too much pressure on yourself for something that is fun and maybe important to you, but at the end of the day, you know, life is so much more. Life is so much more than the goals you set for yourself. And maybe by trying to achieve those goals, you miss out on opportunities of doing something else that you like, or you lose the focus on things that you are doing as well, whilst trying to achieve those goals, which are very important. Maybe for you or for others, yeah, don't beat yourself up too much. And one last thing, because it's something that I tend to do, don't move the goalpost too quickly, right? Whenever you achieve something, try to take a minute to cherish this achievement. Maybe not a minute, maybe a week. Maybe be proud of what you've done in that moment, and maybe don't move the goalpost too quick, right? Set yourself maybe smaller goals. Actually, try to be better than you have been like 2 months ago, and just a little better, if you want to become better, that is. Because I mean, to what merit is it then to like setting goals that are out of your range, right? Because if they are so far out of your range that it becomes frustrating to chase them, then perhaps you end up giving up on these goals eventually, because yeah, it's just frustrating to chase something that is out of your league, perhaps. And that being said, it won't be out of your league forever. Yeah, that's something that I would like to emphasize as well. Just because it's out of your league now doesn't have to mean that it is out of your league like in 2 to 3 years down the way. So to those who are still listening, thank you so much for listening. If this was a bit whiny for you, I can obviously understand it, and perhaps I overthink a bit too much, and I think that's also okay. Why shouldn't there be room for this as well, right? So thanks again for watching, listening. Perhaps share your thoughts with me if you'd like to. Yeah, and if I was able to at least like put a smile on somebody's face today, then I think this video has served its purpose. Thank you so much. Cheers.